Last year, I went on 3 cruises, and by the end of the 3rd cruise, I told myself my next trip needs to be a land trip. And it got me thinking about the pros and cons of cruising versus land journeys, and I thought I'd share them with you. Here are some of the pros of cruising. Number 1, you unpack once. That is a pretty big pro, especially for senior travelers. And for the most part, the cruise lines handle your luggage, so it eliminates the schlepping of bags from one place to another. Number 2, effortless and quick travel. On a cruise, you are able to get from one destination to another quickly. The ship usually travels at night, so getting from one place to the next is effortless. You generally wake up each day in a different port, so your waking hours are spent exploring rather than traveling. Number 3, traveling is simplified. The cruise lines have everything figured out for you. You do need to make some initial decisions about excursions, drink packages, and other options, but it's all a very clear process. The excursions are curated for you, so that simplifies your research. Number 4, food for every palate. The food you eat on board a cruise ship is usually varied, and you will find something that suits your taste. If you have dietary restrictions, you can always find something to eat. On a cruise, you don't have to research local restaurants and wonder if the food is safe or if it is serving something too adventurous for your taste buds or stomach. You know what you're getting on board is safe, although the quality of the food varies from ship to ship. Number 5, travel in comfort. On a cruise, you generally don't have to endure uncomfortable travel, such as long car trips, bus rides, or train travel. While the ship is moving, you are either sleeping or enjoying activities on board. Number 6, extra activities. Most cruise lines offer a plethora of activities, such as nightly entertainment, games, gym, sports deck, pool. So there is an added bonus to your cruise travels in meeting fellow passengers and having a camaraderie on board the ship. Some of the cons of cruising are: Number 1, port cities only. You are mostly relegated to port cities or not far from port cities. And of course, there are so many places around the world that are spectacular destinations that are not on the water. Number 2, not enough time. You don't have the time to fully explore each destination. This is the biggest con of cruising for me. Because you have limited time in port, you only get a taste of each destination. Now, sometimes it is enough and you are ready to move on, but often you feel like you didn't have enough time to fully explore the city. There are some cruise lines that are aware of this problem and are now offering more immersive cruises, but the standard is to pack as many destinations into one cruise as possible. Number 3, no local nightlife. On a cruise, you don't generally get to experience the local nightlife. As I said earlier, the ship often travels at night, so you aren't hanging out at port in the evening. From my experience, you are usually required to be back on board the ship before dinner time. It is rare for a ship to stay in port in the evening so that you can actually enjoy some of the nightlife. This is unfortunate because often a city comes to life during the evening and you miss out on the nighttime cultural vibrancy. Number 4, group traveling is slow-paced. When traveling in groups or on excursions, you are relegated to touring at your fellow traveler's pace, which is usually only as fast as the slowest mover. Anytime a group is traveling, everything just takes longer than if you were on your own. Now, many people enjoy the slower pace, but frankly, I'm not one of them. If you are like me and tend to move quickly, then it can be frustrating to consistently wait for others to finish. This may not be a con for you, but it's a pretty big one for me. I usually feel like I could see twice as much in the time allotted if I wasn't in a group. Now let's talk about the pros of land travel. Number 1, flexibility. You have the ability to book on the exact dates you want to go. It gives you more flexibility with the length and timing of your trip. Number 2, longer lengths of stay. You can decide how long you want to spend at each location. This is why I'm longing for a land trip right now. I want more freedom to explore on my own and the ability to see things at my own pace. Number 3, lodging and dining within the city. You can select the type of lodging you prefer in the area that most interests you. And as I said earlier, you can immerse yourself in the culture by staying in the heart of the city, by eating meals within the city rather than on the ship, You are getting a literal taste of the city and interacting more with the city's residents. Number 4, freedom to explore your way. On a land trip, you can do everything from wandering aimlessly to tightly booking excursions and group tours. It's up to you. You can tailor your exploration to your interests. Excursions booked directly through a tour company are usually cheaper than what you book on a cruise. Of course, many savvy cruisers book their own excursions on a cruise ship to save money. However, you have a time limit in order to be back to the ship, which can be stressful if an excursion is running late. With a land trip, you don't have those worries. Number 5, you can go anywhere. Obviously, you are not relegated to port cities. Of course, this is probably the biggest pro of land travel because there are many more cities inland than near a port. Number 6, tailor your trip for your needs. You can select locations and activities that work for your fitness and mobility level. You can plan a trip where you hang out at the beach or plan some intense hiking in the Alps. There are more possibilities with land travel. Now here are the cons of land travel. Number 1, luggage, luggage, luggage. You have to schlep it wherever you go and continually pack and unpack. Of course, it is always advantageous to pack lightly, but it is especially important when you know you will need to move your luggage several times throughout a trip. And when you do pack lightly, you might be required to wash your clothes partway through the trip. Number 2, freedom to take in special events. I truly believe one of the exciting parts of travel is participating in local events. For example, going to the Paris Opera Ballet when you are in Paris, taking in a local soccer or football game in Italy, or seeing a K-pop concert in South Korea. When on a cruise, you are generally relegated to daytime activities which are limited. When traveling by land and staying within the city, you can join in on the local festivities. Number 3, tiring transportation. Another con of land trips is that transportation can be exhausting. Getting to and from one place to another is generally more difficult and cumbersome when taking land trips. Even if you have a travel agent book that train trip for you, you still have to get yourself there and navigate the train platforms. This is always the scariest part of solo traveling for me, so I always plan ahead when it comes to transportation. Also, if you aren't good with sitting for long periods of time, bus rides and train trips, no matter how scenic, can often be hard on the body. Number 4, time-consuming research. Traveling by land usually takes a bit more research on your part. Even if you use a travel agent, you still need to approve the hotels and sites and make sure everything is as you desire. And then once there, you have to figure out where to eat. That can take quite a bit of research and bravery, especially if you are a solo traveler. On the other hand, you can actually indulge yourself in the local food in a way you can't on a cruise ship. So which one wins out, cruise or land travel? Maybe it should depend on the destination. I think there is a reason why seniors select cruising, because the travel is simplified. However, there are limitations built into the cruise experience. For solo travelers, it is often hard to find those zero single supplement deals on cruises, and it can get expensive to pay for an imaginary person. When I have found a good cruise deal, I have felt welcomed and comfortable as a solo traveler. However, I have often found myself wanting more freedom when exploring. So I think I will probably be booking both, depending on the destination and the available solo traveler discounts. So here's to traveling by land or by sea. Please like, follow, and subscribe at Senior Solo Travel. Cheers!